Alright, so now it's late night, and here is another addition to the previous video. I'm starting to put everything back together. Some clamps had to be moved around just to get the baffle here, the cowl. Actually, this is the baffle, right? So this is where the water collects and exits down in the middle outside, and there are two more drains right there, one over there, one over here. This is the drains for the windshield and for the outside, and there is one drain in the middle in case the water gets inside this area. It still drains right outside, right on top of the transmission. There is a little opening there so the water escapes. Now the blower motor situation. Now, because this thing is broken, so I drilled a hole. I'm going to use mechanics wire, steel line to secure this piece, because you do not want this to be moving around. Now this can spin at very high speed, and if it moves a little bit, the actual fins, they can start touching the cases, and then the fins can get damaged. Once they're damaged, and that's it. The aftermarket fans, usually they're not exactly centered, so they're not exact fit versus the factory one. Oh, mosquito, oba. No, I didn't get them. All right, well, not my day. I ain't playing lottery tomorrow. So anyway, therefore this fan needs to be secured. It cannot be just like moving around like this. So I'm gonna just secure this plate to the the retainer down to that line and get this over with, because I do need to, like I said earlier, to put the cowl water collector back in place. Before I do that, the fan has to be secured. So it's like one thing after another. There is new expansion valve in there, and I replaced the coolant hose here. It's a funny looking hose. It goes around from there, connects to the windshield heater. Well, yes, there is a heater underneath this windshield that melts the snow. So yeah, that's there. All right, this is the line for it. This is the heater core line, and there are two others back there. I'm not gonna go there, it doesn't matter, it's just like two lines. So yeah, that's that. Inside the vehicle I have, hello, what's going on over here? So I got the HVAC box installed, screwed in. All the wires are more or less wrapped up. This side is good, it's finished pretty much. The lock, yes, I missed the lock, so I had to drill it out so I can actually get it back to unlock the steering lock. This is just, it just happens. I don't understand why I always get to mess up on this, and I always have to drill it out, and then I can make it happen. So I can just unlock it manually with the opening and just move it around so I can get the key back in, put the whole thing in, and like lock it in place. I don't understand why. This is the only thing. I've done few of these and always mess up on this. I don't understand, but it doesn't matter. Once I drill the hole and move the plate, and once I put the whole cylinder back on it, it will work just the same way as it was intended from the factory. Just the opening is there just to move the plate to get the lock secured. That's all it is. It's not like something is damaged or something is going to go bad. No, it's just that basically just to unlock it. Now all these wires, whatever, some of them are already secured. The front section is secured. That one isn't secured yet because I have this 3-pin connection here. I want to move the car around because I still need to put the drain in. That's important because you see, that is the drain pipe. I just put a zip tie so it doesn't fall out. I have to still put it on through the spigot here, and that's important because if I'm not going to do it tonight, then the rains come down. If any water will come in, the water will come inside the car. It will drain out through this opening, and it will go inside the car, inside the carpet. So this must be done, but to do this, I have to turn the car around. Then I'm going to double check on this area so I have better visibility. Oh, look at that. this is where it was. Okay. Anyway, I'm just saying, it's just like I have to turn it around so then I can secure this area right here. Put the vent back in place. Obviously, just click it in and that's it. But I want to proofread, if you will, just double check the areas there. Put the drain in, put the carpet back up, put the trim on the carpet for the feet heater, feet vent back on, so I can just have the side carpets to be like this. Once they're like that, then this whole thing is done, and then the dashboard cover can go back in, right? So that's the idea. The steering wheel, this I have to tighten a little bit just in case. You know, the whole steering, once the cover is back on, then the steering controls can be installed, the wires fed. There is a retainer for wires right here, so this thing slides together with the steering adjustment so the wires don't get caught up, and that's that. So I left it on the floor like this, just let it be. And yeah, so that is where I am. Very few parts left on the table, and like I said, I do want to get all these parts installed today. Well, maybe not all of them. Maybe the wiper itself is not going to be installed and what have you, but the firewall will have to go. Now, what is this? Oh, that's the screw. Never mind, we use the new one. That's the heater core hold up. So this is the screw that holds the heater core down. Only one screw. It's funny, very strange, but that's just the way the factory was. You know, I was intended at the factory, so that's how it was made, right? So that's that. So while I'll have all my tools out here and a bunch of screws from the front, these are the screws from the front. So that's why I keep it in a separate box, just the frontal portion here. And that's what I want to accomplish today, just get this over with. And then we'll go into the interior. Not many more points I have to make. Basically, it's all self-explanatory. Obviously, whatever areas down under were vacuumed up, and I cleaned up the area underneath the baffle here because there was just like a lot of crap down there after all these years. So and that is cleaned off and coming along pretty well. Last thing, the system here, I put it on vacuum just to see if there are any leaks, because you know I would rather like vacuum the system and keep it under vacuum while I'm doing all the other things, just to see if there are any leaks, right? Because that's important. If there are any leaks, then I stop what I'm doing and then I just fix the leaks, if any. And this one holds very nicely. So this one is at -1 bar, and this is obviously the absolute pressure on planet Earth. We have 1 bar, which is the atmospheric pressure. So we have -1 bar, and that could be the only vacuum, I guess. I mean, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, but logic tells me like if we have 1 bar atmospheric pressure, and obviously we can only have -1 bar of vacuum, right? So that means vacuum. How can it be more vacuum if the vacuum is vacuum, right? So, but anyway, that is holding well. It's been like this for about maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so, and it hasn't moved anywhere, so that's perfect. So I have my AC system perfectly sealed. All right, so now the heater circuit, that is, what is that? Hello? Pipe? Oh, what is that? Oh, look at this oily residue. I touched something, man. Well, anyway, I don't want to get anything dirty inside the car. That's why, I mean, I'm always concerned about anything that gets onto my hands, onto my fingers, like. So anyway, the heater, that is not going to be known until I start the car and warm the car up. Absolutely. You know, like just 100 degrees, at 90 degrees, whatever, just like fully warmed up, then the pressure will rise. Put the heat on, bleed the heater core or heat exchanger, if you will, and then we'll know if there are any leaks in that department. But usually that never happens. So I mean, leaks after all these repairs never happen, but you never know. So I would rather still continue working and putting things together, except for the dash. And when I turn the car around, then I'm going to heat it up, and then I'm going to double check on the leaks, if there are any leaks. Well, just, you know, there shouldn't be any, but anyway, if there are any leaks, then I obviously will stop and do what I have to do. But that's the heater situation, like the coolant lines. But right now, the blower motor, to secure the blower motor, that's where I'm at right now. This line is secured. This is the fuel cooler that sits in line with AC line. So that was loosened up because I had to work with the expansion valve to get this pipe to be further away from the valve to remove the valve. So I mean, long story short, there's just so many little things. I mean, I can't explain them all. I can write a book or something, I don't know. So nothing to see here, exactly nothing, because it's so dark. Hello, Victor here, RestoreMercedes.com, and this is the final video. Basically, the evaporator and heater core both are replaced. Everything is put back together. Couple of points here: the rear panel there behind the pocket, you know, the center pocket here, I did it my best. I gave it my best shot, so to secure it, because the bracket there is broken, but I secured it quite okay, so that remains pretty good. The button sticks slightly, so it has to be pushed a little further, but it works. This thing I just put some Sharpie marker over, because usually all of these are always like discolorated, so might not be the exact same shape, I mean the shade of the color, but it is what it is. Better than just white, like white round piece sticking out of, like just horrible looking. Now, two tabs are broken on this piece here. The vent itself is broken, just up and down direction. The inner left and right directionals don't work, but at least we have something, because I'm missing the handle, you know, the end. The button there is broken, like I said. That is that. Nothing to really see in the engine bay. These things did not break, surprisingly. Only one tab was broken, the end here, but because the other two are still intact, that those trims will remain just fine, will not fall apart. Nothing to see here, basically. All is good. Now the engine ran. I ran the engine already. I heated it up, and we're going to talk about the very last thing. Is this. So we have the vent, right? The vent that goes there, and all of these vents, they usually break apart. The tabs specifically, these are going to be all gone. But if these are gone, the actual vent will still be held by the piping via these little clips here, right? So once you push it into the pipe, it will remain. The tree's pollinating today, Jesus. So it stops and goes, it stops and goes. I'll just wipe this down. Well, anyway, this is the part number for the vent, and I don't know if they're available or not, and used ones are probably going to be in the same state. So this one had a little bit of the tabs, well, one of them is present here. This one is better. Those tabs were okay, except this one's okay, but this one, it was all cracking around. So this is all plastic weld. Alright, so you just plastic weld it all around, so you get yourself a little structure, and then you can install it back in place, right? I'm gonna have to pull the speaker out so I can push the speaker is easily to be removed, just like that. So once the speaker is removed, then you can actually get to the piping and push it in. Right, so you can just compress the two together. And that's about it. That little trim to go back in. And out of all the bolts, now this is the tray. Right, so we have this piece to go onto the plastic right down there, the footwell. Some broken pieces, and this is the trim that goes over the grill, the speaker grill, cell phone speaker grill. These two screws, these were just there because the tabs are broken. That's for the side vent to the left. Okay, the top two, so they're no longer. These three are for the passenger side vent, and I only have 2 screws left. Yes, this job I had 2 screws left, and I don't know where they would go, but not a bad result. But still, I like to have all screws installed. Just 2 of them are left, so yeah, 99.9% success. So 0.1% is just 2 screws. I don't know, it's just like I put everything together the right way. Just for the life of me, I don't know where these screws would go. That's pretty much. Oh yeah, I know where one of them will go. Yes, it'll go in there behind the cluster. Yep. So there will be one left. That's about it. Behind the cluster, with the boot, the leather covering, I think I forgot to put the screw there. That's why the cluster is not all the way installed. Like, it's just pulled out slightly, so it's just can be removed very, very easily. Okay, so this is it. Car's finished and ready to go. Victor here, RestoreYourMercedes.com. Thank you for watching.